Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome to Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is on to season 2, not season 1. This is season 2. I would start with season 1, but I've watched at this point now. I've rewatched it twice, and it's twice because I made sure to rewatch it not too long ago, like literally last week, just to kind of work myself back up to catching up to season 2. Because honestly, these reactions were meant to come a lot sooner. I think, on my previous channel back in 2018-19, I did make like a video like talking about new shows that I was actually gonna react to, and on that list was Avatar. On that list was Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I was gonna do season 1 then, but things got in the way and it never happened. So I just kind of, I actually don't know. Like even back then, I think because like again, I think there's a good chance it might have ended up being one of those shows I was going to watch in my own time, but then it ended up being so good that I actually did want to do reactions to it. So then season 1 back then, I had actually watched it, and then I was getting ready to. And then I was actually getting ready to do season 2, but then things got in the way, and those reactions never came. So now, fast forward now to 2021, 2, 3 years later, and I'm finally back in now. So then I figured, okay, I really want to get back into doing reactions for this and actually try and check this out and check more of the show out and see how it goes. So then I thought, okay, so now I need to rewatch season 1 again. So I thought, should I do a reaction for season 1 even though I've already seen it once? And then I was like, you know what? I'll just get through it quickly with as like a recap and a refresher. But then there's a lot of stuff that I genuinely forgot happened in season 1. So reactions could have still been a possibility, but either way, I'm glad I saw it. Anyway, I'm glad I actually gave it like a fresh kind of start either way, and actually kind of recapped my mind on all the stuff. But yeah, this show is genuinely amazing. This show is actually just pitch perfect in so many ways, and I cannot wait to see what season 2 and 3 holds. I think this is like this kind of portion of that kind of franchise is just 2 seasons, and I think there's Legend of Korra too. So I think I've not heard the best things about Legend of Korra. Like I've heard like mostly kind of mixed reviews about that, but I'm still kind of willing to go into it with an open mind, as I always try and do with things, and then see how it is for myself. But honestly, this like the Last Airbender is honestly just I think especially for like I think I want to say especially for being an animated show, but I think especially in recent times, I think Avatar is definitely one of the older animated shows that maybe doesn't really get a lot of credit when you're watching it in the moment. But then actually, it definitely ages like a fine wine. And I never actually had Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or whatever else, like any other kind of American cartoon channels you get, and I never really grew up with those. So as a result, I never really grew up with this. I discovered this very very late, so I'm very late to the party and everything, and even later now because I haven't actually even finished the party. So there's that. But nevertheless, I am glad I discovered it when I did. Discovered it through other kind of friends who were massively into the show and did not hesitate to spread the word and everything. So that was super cool. But yeah, this show is just it's amazing with the music, the writing, the characters, the story as a whole. It just it's easily become one of my favorite shows of all time, and I'm only on season 1. I'm only on season 1, so definitely speaks kind of levels. And I think especially like for how short it is too, because I think each episode isn't too much longer than 20 to 30 minutes. I think especially in that regard too, it's like so much happens. And some sequences are shorter than others, but overall the episodes still feel compact enough to keep you kind of enticed, and you like not a lot. I think maybe conceptually quite a bit of it runs in a filler way, but not a lot of it actually feels like filler, especially like for me anyway. Like every episode, like even if it doesn't feature every character that we meet in it, like it still feels like it has something to offer with character or story, which I think is maybe at least partially what filler is supposed to do. So yeah, so book 1, season 1, book 1 was water. We meet Katara and Sokka. I love those two. I love them with all my heart and soul. They are just like when it comes to TV siblings, easily up here, easily right up here. So Katara and Sokka, Katara being I think like the very last kind of waterbender in the Southern Water Tribe, and she and Sokka go out on a fishing thing, and I'm going to try and do a quick recap of season 1 just to kind of again to remind myself that like it's mainly for me, so I can actually remember and everything that's happened, because I think it took me like 2 weeks to actually get through the entire season among everything else I was actually watching. So So they went on a fishing trip, and then they found Aang, and Aang had actually, like, him being the new Avatar, he'd been away, like, he'd been Captain America for like 100 years. He was in ice even longer than Steve was. And he was a kid when it happened too. So he has a lot left of his life to actually live. So I'm curious as to how much of his kind of life we're going to see explored throughout his show. If we'll actually see him become an old man, become like an old Avatar, and, like, because I think presumably the Avatar can actually die of old age, because I think we've had Avatar Roku, who literally looks like an old man, so presumably that's what will happen with him. And I think Korra is the one that's actually supposed to come after him. So then eventually Aang dies, and then Korra comes along, so that will be interesting to explore as well. But yeah, Aang was thawed out by Katara and Sokka, and then almost immediately afterwards, we meet Zuko and Uncle Iroh. Uncle Iroh is the ultimate father figure in this show, maybe in all of television. Uncle Iroh must be protected at all costs. Him, his pie show, his tea. I think pie show is the board game he plays. Him, his pie show, and his tea, they all must be protected. Everything Uncle Iroh holds dear must be protected. And I think, honestly, one of the best things about, like, the kind of antagonist kind of explorations in this show is, honestly, like, the dynamic between Iroh and Zuko. You got Iroh, who's like an uncle who by the end of the first season literally admits to Zuko that he very much sees him as a son, especially after he lost his own years ago. And then you got Zuko, Zuko, honestly, again, I think almost from the get go, I could definitely see the fact that this kid is not like an inherently bad kid. He is one who was literally scarred by his father, and now, he's been banished with little to no hope of actually returning home with some honor and dignity. And the only way he can do it is to get his father what he wants, to get his father what the Fire Nation wants, and that's the Avatar. They need the Avatar back so they can actually, if they kill him, he'll just be reborn. So I think just kind of keeping him in captivity, but also defeating him and doing all sorts of other stuff and stuff like that. So then even then, when Sozin's comet is set to return, then, if they keep the Avatar in their grips, then he can't stop them, and they can overpower him, and a lot of shit goes down. But yeah, Zuko, again, I think from the get go, I could kind of see the whole kind of, he's not inherently evil. He's not like an inherently bad guy. If he gets with the right people and they show him the right way, then, like, he could have one hell of a redemption arc. He could easily have one hell of a redemption arc, and, still believing that right now, I honestly, again, I can't wait to see how that unfolds and how he develops as a character. And, because I think even throughout season one, we've had moments of moments where he's, especially like moments of serenity and moments of peace between him and Aang before Zuko kind of like reflexively kind of lashes out and uses power, and he actually fights back and everything, because it's what he's trained himself to do. But then, and I think especially after meeting Aang too, seeing he's just a child, like, cause I think there's like a lot of mixed reactions too with like Aang being the Avatar, like, oh, the Avatar is now just a child, he should be really easy to stop. But then Aang and Katara and Sokka just equally just kind of, throw like just a load of shit in the face of the Fire Nation every time they come up against them, and Zuko is no stranger to that shit. So, I'm curious as to how he's going to move forward, like with everything that's gone down, with everything he now knows about the Avatar, with everything he knows about Aang, that Aang as well, he knows that the Avatar is a sworn enemy of the Fire Nation, but he's never won. He not only has he never actually tried to kill Zuko, but he's also, like, in the finale, he actually opted to save his life in the middle of that blizzard. So I am very curious to know to see how Zuko and Iroh will move forward with their kind of hunt for the Avatar. And especially now that Ozai has sent his sister, the very final scene, Ozai actually ordering his daughter to go out and search for the Avatar herself, and also to bring her uncle and her brother to justice, and to make them pay the price for the crimes that they've committed in the name of the Fire Nation. So yeah, I think his sister's name is Azula, I believe. I think I could be getting that wrong. I think Azula. I think it might be Azula, but we haven't really seen any of it. Like we saw one glimpse of her in the flashback when Zuko was actually scarred by his father in their door, like his backstory that Iroh was explaining to the other Fire Nation guards, and then the very final scene of season one, like when she was given that new mission. So I think we may well be up to par seeing her in this season, seeing how she gets along, seeing how she tracks down Iroh and Zuko and everything. So that should be fun. We've met so many different faces, and so many different faces from, like, faces that will likely pop up again in the future, and also faces from Aang's past and their past and everything, and just all the stuff, all the drama that's gone down has genuinely been so fun to watch and so tense to watch as well in certain places. So again, this show does character stuff and just story overall in really, really enticing and really kind of like, just in enjoyable ways. So yeah, and yeah, Commander Zhao, not gonna miss him. Not gonna miss him. I think he was the one he was the one character you were justified in just disliking so much because he was just that much of a little, of a pretty big shit. He was that much of a big shit. So not gonna. I think and again, I think that's the stark difference with like how well this show does antagonists too, because he's the villain. He is like Fire Nation through and through. He's the villain. He's the one you're supposed to hate. But then Zuko, again, just like literally a misunderstood antagonist. And Iroh never has a moment of evil in the entire season. He never tries to kill anyone. He never tries to harm or maim. He is literally just like a man, an old man with a heart of gold, and he cares for Zuko like a son and everything. He tries to do so good. He tries to do so good by him and tries to help him in his quest. But then I feel like he helps him kind of learn like a lot more light than dark throughout the story. So I can't wait to see where that goes. Can't wait to see where it goes. So yeah, then the ending, they were at the North Pole, the Northern Water Tribe, and a lot of shit went down there. And then Princess Yue sacrificed her life, gave herself up to be like the Moon Spirit again, and then and then Aang went into the Avastar state and turned into the Ocean Spirit, and then he killed Zhao. He dragged Zhao underwater, and everything happened there. So now I think based on that ending, I think the other dude, I can't remember what his name was. Like the other kind of the waterbending master that they met. Like he announced that he was actually going back to the South Pole with a few other waterbenders and stuff, and then he appointed Katara to be the new waterbending master of the North. So I mean, book 1 was about Aang actually learning to master water, as well as actually discovering all these other elements along the way, and actually understanding just like bits and pieces, but also mainly focusing on water. So I think this new season being about Earth, I don't know if they're still gonna like open it up with water and then eventually move on to Earth in like the second episode, or if they're gonna do something like maybe just having it happen off screen, maybe like by pretty much this episode he's just gonna have mastered water, and then he actually figures out he needs to go back onto Earth and everything. So yeah, and I think even in terms of actually mastering the elements, like the lore behind the elements too, was actually really, really. I think I really appreciate how well explored it was in that one episode with the other firebending master who used to be Commander Zhao's master, and like him explaining to Aang that he needs to understand the importance of the strength and stability that comes from water and earth before he masters fire. And then in that same episode we find out exactly what happens when Aang doesn't do that, and then people start getting hurt. And I think Aang as well, like him being a kid, I think it definitely brings along like an interesting twist, like the Avatar this time being not only a child but an extremely childlike child. Like he is the pinnacle of childhood itself, actually pretty much having superpowers, and then just wanting to have fun with them and play games, and not really wanting the weight of all 4 nations on your shoulders and everything. It's just such a well explored and such a well executed kind of series with these amazing kind of characters in various kind of stages of their life and everything. So yeah, but yeah, that was season 1. That is my recap for season 1, pretty much. So I can't wait to see. I can't wait to go into season 2 and see how it is and everything. So moving on to Mastering Earth, pretty much. So yeah, that was season 1. So on to season 2, episode 1. On to the reaction, and you guys know where I'm going with this. This reaction will just be for YouTube anyway. This reaction will just be the highlights and the best bits of the episode. But if you want to watch any reactions or any moments that don't make it into this cut, you can see all of those reactions in the full-length version over on Patreon, where you can watch the entire episode along with me, unedited, just uncut and everything. So that'll be cool too. But yeah, that will also be available over on Patreon, so that's that. But yeah, fine, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Avatar, The Last Airbender, episode 1 of season 2. Let's go. Oh boy, okay. Oh, this is from when he discovered the Airbenders, the Air Nomads, yeah. And then he met Avatar Roku in that one, the Fire Nation Temple. So is he re-exploring all? Is he recapping season 1? Like, did I even need to recap season 1? Is he just doing it all for me? This is essentially a recap of season 1. I feel like I didn't even need to do it. I feel like I didn't even need to ramble for 20 minutes.
Sokka, take care, son.
Yeah, just well wishes, well wishes. Yeah, farewell.
Base to the east of
Yeah.
here. General Fong will provide you with an escort to Omashu.
Oh, Omashu. We're going back to Omashu.
Begin your earthbending training with King Boomy.
Boomy! Boomy's coming back. Okay, yeah, they were age-old friends right before he disappeared, and then Boomy actually aged, and he didn't. Yeah, okay, Boomy and Omashu, they're both coming back. Okay. Uncle Ira's getting a massage.
It's the anniversary, isn't it?
3 years ago today, I was banished.
Ah,
I
3
lost it all.
years.
I want it back.
Azula, oh, she gets a throne, or is that a carriage? I don't know. But either way, Azula's here. Azula's here. Okay.
My brother and my uncle have disgraced the Fire Lord.
The tides will not allow us to bring the ship into port before nightfall.
Do the tides command this ship?
No, she does.
I'm afraid I
Azula
don't
commands the
understand.
ship. Yeah.
You said the tides would not allow us to bring the ship in. Do the tides command this ship? And if I were to have you thrown overboard, would the tides think twice about smashing you against the rocky shore?
Oh, that's a very
No.
intimidating message to say.
Well then, maybe you should worry less about the tides, who've already made up their mind about killing you, and worry more about me, who's still mulling it over.
I'll pull us in.
Damn. Yeah, yeah.
Great heroes! Appa, Momo,
Appa, Momo.
Sokka, the mighty Katara.
Well, they
Mighty
get these
Katara?
official
I like
labels
that.
too. Yeah, they get, yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
Hmm. So they actually get a welcome party this time.
You're ready to face the Fire Lord now.
What?
No, he's not.
I'm not.
He's got earth and fire left to go.
Master all 4 elements.
Yeah.
Why? With the kind of power he possesses, power enough to destroy hundreds of battleships in a matter of minutes, he could defeat the Fire Lord now!
He got lucky with the ocean spirit, dude.
Aang can only do those things when he's in the Avatar state.
Yeah.
I'll help you figure out how to get into the Avatar state, and then you'll face your destiny.
Okay, this guy is just rushing right into the heat of battle. Yeah, no pun intended.
His destiny his way.
People are dying, Aang. You could end it, now. Think about it.
You can't guilt trip a kid into fighting a war for you when he's barely ready. That's just... you'll lose quicker than you'll even get any kills on your own side. He's the Avatar for a reason. It's not just the state. It's the power and control over all 4 elements. The whole fucking point of the show.
Perfect.
Wait, was she bending lightning?
They're out of place.
She can bend lightning? Is that... lightning bending is a thing? That's lightning. That's like electricity. Electricity bending. Is that like a 5th element that we don't know about yet?
There's a right way to do this. Practice, study, and discipline.
Or just glow it up and stop that Fire Lord.
If you 2 meatheads want to throw away everything we've worked for, fine. Go ahead and glow it up. Katara, I'm just being realistic.
That's not realistic. That's idealistic. The realistic way is actually making sure you have full control over all of your powers. For fuck's sake.
Tenfold energy, huh? Is it working? Is it working?
Oh, he's just hyper. He's just hyper. It's basically just sugar. Yeah.
I
Right.
guess he could talk the Fire Lord.
I love surprises.
Oh god. Okay.
Still not glowing.
Okay, no. Very good. Very good jump scare material though. That actually got me. I won't lie, that actually genuinely got me.
Water, earth, fire,
Oh god.
air. 4 elements together as one.
Ugh,
This is
this
just mud.
allergies. Yo.
We have to find a way.
I'll enjoy these keepsakes for years to come.
We don't need any more useless things. You forget, we have to carry everything ourselves now.
Hello, brother.
Oh, Azula's here.
What are you doing here?
She found them.
In my country, have you become uncivilized so soon, Zuzu?
Oh, Zuzu. Oh,
What do
Zuzu.
we owe this
Wow.
honor?
Father regrets your banishment. He wants you home.
Father regrets?
Don't fall for Izuku. No, come
Wants
on.
me back?
No.
I can see you need time to take this in. I'll come to call on you tomorrow. Good evening.
God damn, no, don't fall for the Zuko. You know he wouldn't have you back without the Avatar. He wouldn't let you go back empty-handed.
I only meant that in our family, things are not always what they seem.
I think you are exactly what you seem. A lazy, mistrustful, shallow old man
Zuko.
who's jealous of his brother.
Zuko, come on. God damn, Azula coming up here, stirring tensions, fanning flames and shit.
I don't think we should be trying to bring on the Avatar state.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think the General will be mad?
What can he say? You're the Avatar. Who knows better than you?
It's a fair point, yeah. Who knows the Avatar state better than the Avatar himself? Yeah.
I can only reach the Avatar state when I'm in genuine danger.
I see. I was afraid you'd say that.
What's he done? Whoa, oh, is he gonna put him in danger? He's gonna put him in danger. He's gonna put him in genuine danger. Oh god. Like immersion therapy or some crap.
Attack the Avatar!
Jesus, this guy's going full on immersion therapy mode. Jesus, okay. This is not gonna work out. This is not gonna. Where is Boomy? This is his kingdom. Where the hell is Boomy? That is not Boomy. That's General Fong. Where the hell is Boomy?
I won't fight you!
Oh god. Oh, I don't think you have a choice. Oh, in the little boxes. Oh. Have they got Katara? Don't tell me they've got Katara. Oh. Because then that would be the one thing that does trigger it. Protecting someone he loves. Yeah.
Set our course for home, Captain.
Home.
She has such a deceptively warm voice.
Raise the anchors.
Yeah.
We're taking the prisoners home.
The prisoners. Oh, we let it slip. We let it slip. They're prisoners, you knew? Oh, god damn. Oh, damn. God, just that one guard. Just that one guard. Yeah, the one guard who let it slip. Damn.
Maybe you can avoid me, but she can't.
Yeah, putting Katara in danger. Putting Katara in danger. Oof, oh, quicksand.
I can't move!
Oh, damn. Oh. No, he'd have to go into the Avatar state. He'd have to go into it.
I'm trying! I'm trying! Aang! I'm sinking!
Oh
I
god.
don't see glowing.
You obsessive bastard. Seriously,
You don't need to do this!
Apparently, I do.
Oh, here comes the Avatar.
It worked.
Here comes the Avatar. Are you sure he's on your side though? You're the one doing this to him. Oh, come on, Ari, you got this. You got this.
Let's go!
Oh boy, oh boy.
You know, Father blames Uncle for the loss at the North Pole. Why would he want you back home? Except to lock you up where you can no longer embarrass him.
Oh. Can she is she gonna lightning bend against him? Can she bring the lightning in? Is she gonna bring in the lightning? Oh, the lightning! How does she do that? Iroh can lightning bend? Even Iroh can lightning bend?
The Avatar state is a defense mechanism designed to empower you with the skills and knowledge of all the past avatars.
Oh, yeah.
So, in the Avatar state, you are at your most powerful. If you are killed in the Avatar state, the reincarnation cycle will be broken.
Ah,
And
okay.
the Avatar will cease
Oh, okay, that is, wow. So at his strongest, but at his most vulnerable. Damn, that's a hell of a kind of catch-22, if I'm using that term correctly. Yeah, it's a hell of a catch-22.
We just have to find out a way to control you when you're like that.
You're out of your mind.
You really
I guess
are.
we'll figure it out on the way to the Fire Nation.
Anybody got a problem with that?
No, we're good, we're
Do you
good.
still want an escort
Yeah.
to Omashu?
Oh, they're not even at Omashu yet. That's why Boomy was there. Boomy's in Omashu. They weren't even at Omashu yet. Oh, and Fong was meant to be the escort. Yes. He's cutting his hair off. Oh, damn. Oh, they both... Oh, because they have to change their disguises. They have to change their appearance. They can't match any previous appearance. Yeah, so they're going undercover. Well, damn. Well, damn. That was... I'm really glad I did this. I'm really glad I did this. So yeah, that was great. That was really, really great. A really swift and smooth kind of, re-entrance into the story and into what's coming up next. So yeah, I think like a lot of interesting lore to get into, a lot of interesting kind of different pieces of information regarding the Avatar and regarding some of the powers available in the story. So we did in fact see Yang going back to Umashu, or at least set to go back to Umashu. He was actually just outside of Umashu and scheduled to have like an escort take him back into Umashu so that he could actually start earthbending with Bumi. So he's going to go back to Bumi and start learning how to master earthbending with him. So I feel like waterbending. I think he might just be studying both, because I think Katara is now officially his new waterbending master. So I think she herself like she is one hell of a fighter, and she's one hell of a bender with like the water element. So she like I feel like I feel like she like whilst there may still be stuff that she herself might want to learn, for the most part she's already kind of she's already tackled enough of it to know exactly how it works, and know like the strongest extents of it. And she's not the avatar of waterbending, but she is the ultimate bender of waterbending. So because that she I feel like she's definitely in a position to both fight and teach her way through this new season. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how she and Aang still kind of continue to take up waterbending, and then how he slowly transitions into earthbending too. So yeah, that was cool. What was not cool, what was very, very not cool, was General Fong rushing Aang into the Avatar state. From the get-go, I figured, that is a really, really bad idea, because from what we've seen of him in the Avatar state, he is incredibly kind of, volatile and, very, very kind of, prone to lashing out. And I think, especially, like from what we've seen of him as the Avatar, it's he's clearly also not himself either. He is... And especially the way Roku actually explained to him the way the Avatar state works in his little spirit world vision, is he's really not himself, because of the fact that his mind especially is actually like a combination of all the previous avatars before him. So then he's really not just himself. He's not really going to recognize anyone specifically. He's not going to recognize anyone specifically as an enemy. Like if you're in his way, like the other kind of earthbenders were, and how General Fong was, then he's really not gonna. I mean, he might have a target in mind, but then at the same time, it's if you still get in his way, then he might just take you out too. But Katara being Katara actually trying to make especially in season 1 when he first entered the Avatar state, him going into that after finding Gyatso dead, in front of a whole other kind of slew of kind of Fire Nation skeletons. He went into the Avatar state there, but then Katara actually kept her distance, but then actually tried to talk him down. So then he might not always have her in his corner. In those such cases, he might not always have her in his corner, and he also might not have anyone in his corner who actually might see the importance of bringing him back or actually stabilizing him. Because General Fong, he was intent on weaponizing him. He wasn't ever intent even his final line was oh, so now we know how to bring you into the Avatar state. We just need to know how to control you now. So even if you're not fully yourself, as long as we can control you and aim you like a giant freaking nuke, then it's all good. So he was fully intent on weaponizing Aang's powers and actually using that as a one-way ticket to defeating the Fire Nation, instead of actually understanding the importance, and especially as the Avatar again, it's I think it's also that kind of differentiation. I feel with each individual element, they all come with their limitations, I'd say. They all come with some element of self-control. I feel like they can all still be destructive in some way. With airbending, you could easily suffocate someone or fill them up with so much air that they just end up blowing up, if that's even possible. Or you just explode their lungs by filling them with so much air. All of them are deadly in some way. With waterbending, you can drown them. Earthbending, just crush them under a rock or something. And firebending, obviously, you just roast them. Yeah, so I think all of them come with some element of self-control, and some are more inherently destructive than others, and especially that was what was actually explored in the last season with the other firebending master who abandoned the Fire Nation, him actually saying fire by nature is meant to destroy and burn everything in its path. It's meant to harm you. It's meant to harm everything that gets in its way. So that's why you need to master the other elements. Like, air has some sense of like actual calm and peace to it, and then water, like Katara discovered in season 1, like water is its primary focus is actually healing and like giving life and nourishing, like how it helps plants grow and how it can actually, and for her, like she can actually use her water bending to actually heal wounds and stuff. So I think it was in that same episode too. Like we find out, like we find the duality between those two elements, like water, like like Aang kind of let his firebending go out of control and he burned Katara's hands, but then Katara uses her own powers and finds out that she can actually heal herself and she can even heal other people too. So with like water, it comes with that kind of fluidity and that kind of more kind of positive energy around it and everything, and Earth kind of has its own stability and its own control and stuff like that. So you need to master all those other. In order to handle the potential negativity that comes from firebending, you need to be able to actually understand the importance of the positive aspects of all the other elements too. Because like with fire, it can be positive if you're using it for the right reasons, but then it can also easily spiral out of control. It can very easily spread and spiral out of control. So, I feel like all these different elements, even individually, have their own set of restrictions and limitations that are there for a reason. And with the Avatar state, when it's all combined, it's like the Avatar is the master of all four elements. So it's like if you like I don't know, like if you control like each element with like one limb, so like one like hand for air, one hand for fire, one foot for water, and one foot for earth and everything. So I mean, I would be incredibly surprised if he actually, I mean, given that they incorporate like martial arts into into these kinds of bending techniques too, then it would be incredibly awesome to see him actually handling all four elements at the same time, using some kind of kick punch kick kind of combo and everything. But but General Fong did not have the best intentions in mind, and even worse, like from the moment as well, like he guilt tripped Aang, like showing him all the wounded soldiers returning back and everything, and even telling him how in the 100 years you've been gone, people have been dying at the hands of the Fire Nation, and even to this day, people are only dying even more. No one is actually staying alive that well enough to actually give you the time you need, and him. And again, like him, like using that on a child too. Like I think, and especially I think that's one of the one of the beautiful things about the series, that you see Aang go through so much, especially as a child. Like for one, like part of him is so childlike, and part of him embraces these powers as something that can be used like for fun, for fun every now and then. It's especially how he actually mastered most of his airbending techniques, but then coming up against these other elements too. It's like it's not just him wanting to explore. It's him knowing that he needs to master these elements to become the Avatar that he's meant to be, and then eventually defeat the Fire Nation and prevent Sozin's Comet from being harnessed yet again. But then he actually comes across all these different people that need his help, and and even see again season 1. I'm gonna go call back to season 1 quite a bit, so bear with me. But season 1 again, like I think that was the other episode where he actually was again kind of guilted into, well, he was actually kind of drawn back into feeling guilty because of the fact that he was gone. Because again, he ran away. He ran away when because I was just thinking full disclaimer. I discovered the movie before I saw the TV show. Just don't judge me or hate me too much. I had no idea I had little to no idea that the animated show was a thing when I found the movie. I watched the movie for the first time on an airplane when I was like a early teenager, so that was my introduction to this kind of story, and I didn't really think much of it then, but then I found out there was an animated show, and not only is there an animated show, but pretty much everyone who watched and loved the animated show hates the guts of the movie. They all kind of constantly, just chastise M. Night Shyamalan for what he did with the movie, and some of them pretend that the movie doesn't exist because it's easier that way, and others actually actively just chastise it whenever they can. But with the series, I think with season 1 alone, just seeing how much more fleshed out things are, how much more it has to give, I undeniably say the TV show is miles better than the movie could ever even hope of being. So you have my, I'm with you guys on that. So yeah, but I think going back to that too, I think that was also one of the things with I think they also made that kind of a duality too. With that one, the duality there was that with the show, Aang actually didn't really he didn't really like he definitely felt the pressure of being the Avatar, but I think until I think for a while though I think he felt like he could actually handle that well, like as long as he was with Gyatso. But then once the other monks actually found out that he was actually still relaxing and playing around with Gyatso instead of training all the time like he was meant to, they then actually came to the conclusion that they would take him away from Gyatso and move him to another temple as a whole, just to actually make sure he completes his Avatar training and everything. So then that's why he ran away and got trapped in ice, but it went like a completely different way in the movie, so there was that. But yeah, but then again, like just tying that back into this, like like Aang is like still a kid at heart and in his soul too. He has a lot long left to go, but it's also like with his childhood, he's being forced into like a very very mature kind of role. Even even generally, he's being forced into a very very mature role very quickly. And I think with this opening episode to the season as a whole, it's just showing him that I think that some people are actually a little bit overexcited at the return of the Avatar, that they just really hope that the Avatar learns everything that they need to learn within like one day, and that they then burn down the Fire Nation the next. I think I think like Fong especially. I think with Fong, it's definitely like a mixture of not knowing how the Avatar powers and how the Avatar state actually works, but also not really caring and just wanting the war to be over, or just wanting the Avatar to do what he does and do it quickly and to do all that stuff. So yeah, so not a big fan of Wong, but in the end he did just get swiftly knocked out by Sokka. And then yeah, I figured like in the end he'd probably go for immersion there. Like as soon as he kicked him out of the tower, I figured, he's probably going to go for some like immersion therapy bullshit, and he's just going to try and force him into the most intense situation possible, which was then sending his men after him. But then I thought, then what would make sense would be what would make sense is if he actually used Katara too, if he actually did, because I think I thought because Katara actually left their room, she went to her own quarters. I thought, maybe like after Aang told him that he wouldn't actually do it, then maybe he'd the general would actually try and use Katara on him, being like, how about if I put someone you loved and cared about in danger, how about if I put one of your friends in danger, would you then want to become the Avatar again after if you only using the Avatar state, would you be able to save her? Would that give you more incentive to actually join forces and actually do what needs to be done and everything? So I figured Katara would play into it some way, and she did, but it was actually going to check on Aang of her own accord, and then almost drowning in a sandpit and everything. So yeah. So I think, if this is the kind of mentality and the kind of attitude explored in the first episode, then God only knows how the rest of the season is going to go, with all the people he's going to come across and how many of them are actually going to view the Avatar. Because I think especially like stories of the events of season 1 would have actually unfolded too, the Avatar's been spotted here, there, and he's been doing all this stuff, meeting all these people. So then at this point now, it should be pretty much worldwide news. The Avatar has returned and stuff. So, and the Fire Nation is coming back even stronger. So yeah, I'm not sure, but it will be interesting to see. It'll be very interesting to see. And yes, going into the Avatar, I think going into the Avatar state means that it does kind of have two different stages, or two different ways it can happen, or at least I think more accurately two different stages, because then when in the Avatar state he can also communicate with previous avatars, namely Avatar Roku. Because I don't know exactly what the cycle is. I'm not sure in exactly, because I think it must be, right? Because Avatar Roku came before Aang. He came just before Aang. So then going from Roku to Aang would be fire and then air. So then I don't know if water. I think it's actually in the intro. I think it might actually be in the intro. I think it's air. Well, no, I think it's not in the intro, because in the intro it goes water, earth, fire, and air. Yeah, water, earth, fire, and air. So then it must be water, and water, earth, fire, air. So then, okay, so he's the last in that cycle before the cycle actually restarts again. So yeah, so then water must come after him. So then Korra must be a waterman. I think she actually does wear light bluish kind of garbs, like they all kind of wear garbs to actually like colors to match the elements. So then fire wears like orangey red, and then air kind of wears like a like an orangey kind of like a cream color. Like Aang has like a reddish kind of like an orangey kind of tunic type, like a shawl type thing, and then he has his everything else is kind of like cream color and everything. So then that's that. And then water has blue and light blue, and earth has green. So yeah, so water, earth, fire, and air. So then yeah, so water must come after him. So then yeah, so Korra is water, and she comes after Aang. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. Then. So yeah, so yes, and there's two different kind of stages of like his actual kind of Avatar state experience, where one is where he actually has the power and he's in control and he can do what he wants, and the other one is where his spirit actually leaves his body, like he starts kind of astral projecting, or like, you know, I think would it be astral projecting? I think, or like lucid. And I think, well, no, I think it might be astral, maybe astral, because then his spirit is literally ejected from his body and he travels around. He just roams around like, you know, like free of any restraints or anything. So then that would be that. So then yeah, and then he actually comes up on Roku with the dragon, and then I think that's pretty much the first time that Roku actually gives him even more of like an in-depth kind of explanation as to how the Avatar state works and stuff. So then he tells him that, you know, like on the one hand, he is his most powerful. He is at his most kind of powerful when he's in the Avatar state, because when his eyes glow, that's when all the minds of the avatars are converging into one. So that's when he experiences and he's able to utilize the combined knowledge and power of all the previous avatars before him. So that's cool. But then he's also at his most vulnerable. He's also at his most vulnerable because then if he's killed in the Avatar state, then he's dead. He's dead forever. There's no reincarnation, no more Avatar. So I mean, I then wonder if that could also be like another plan for. If that could also be like another plan for Ozai too, like, because I think Ozai mainly wants to bring back like get ready for Sozin's comet, because that's returning at the end of the summer. So then, you know, like he mainly wants to get ready for that and actually end the war and assume total control in that power vacuum with that. But then I wonder if maybe there could also be like a second power vacuum where if he actually does capture the Avatar, then he can also trigger him. He can re-trigger Aang into the Avatar state. But then if he has the knowledge required, if he actually knows that the Avatar can be killed while in the Avatar state, then, you know, then that would mean that he finally finishes off the Avatar forever, and then that power vacuum leaves behind space and time for the Fire Nation to, you know, finish off, kind of assuming control of all the other nations and all the other elements. So then I think that reminds me, right? That reminds me, because again, like the Avatar, the kind of concept and the character of the Avatar is very much reminiscent of the Doctor from Doctor Who, like the Time Lords from Doctor Who. So, you know, I mean, with them being able to regenerate, and I think like a thing that was explored in season 6 is that if the Doctor is actually killed in the middle of his regeneration, in the middle of their regeneration, then they can just die. Like they literally won't be able to be reborn. They literally won't be able to come back again. So that will be the last Doctor that there ever is. So, and I think it has happened, but then thanks to Doctor Who mindfuckery and their kind of sci-fi and everything, it's just kind of been reverted and, you know, flippity flopped and everything. So, but with this, I think with this it does pretty much work the same way too, just different incarnations with different initial mastery, like with Roku, because him being like a firebender, like his initial mastery was with fire, and then with Aang, like he mastered air to begin with, and so I think depending on which element the Avatar is born into, they always kind of have like somewhat easier immediate mastery of like the element that they're actually the element they're born into, and then mastering the other elements is where things get trickier and things take more time and dedication and everything. So yeah. But then I think I've been wondering, I mean, even with Avatar Roku, I've been kind of wondering, like, you know, how he would have been with the Fire Nation, like, him being a firebender, like, you know, and him being an Avatar too, like, because then I feel like, because I don't know what the timeline is between Avatar Roku dying and the first Sozin comet being used by the Fire Nation, because that was used by Fire Lord Sozin, and that was, as a result, dubbed Sozin's comet, and then Ozai wants to redo it the second time, but use it to end the war and actually assume total control. So then I'm curious. I can't remember if they actually mentioned it in season 1, but I'm curious as to what the timeline was with with them having an avatar that came from their element, that came from their nation, but maybe if Roku just didn't really align with them, because then again, we've even had firebending masters, or at least one master who doesn't align with them, but now I think having like an entire avatar who just doesn't really agree with them, or doesn't do what they want, or maybe if it's because Avatar Roku died, maybe because they actually had him on their side, but then when he died, they knew that the next one probably wouldn't align with them. So then when he died, that's when Sozin used the comet, and then used it to start the war, and then thought, oh well, by the time the next Avatar comes, then we'll be ready and we can actually take him out too, and stuff like that. So I think I'm pretty unaware of what the history was like with Avatar, with Roku and the Fire Nation. Like if he was with them, if there was any kind of if there was any of that contention, because it was at the beginning of the 100 years after, it was in the beginning of the 100 years when like just after Aang disappeared, the Sozin's Comet happened, and then the Fire Nation slowly built up control and they attacked all the other nations and everything. So I'm curious as to what the relationship between them and Roku was like. So I do wonder if they'll ever actually throw maybe book 3, because I think book 3 is fire. Book 3 is fire, so maybe in that one we'll actually have more exploration of who Roku is and what he did what he did in his time as the Avatar, and then what he got up to and how he felt about everything. So yeah, but that is some very interesting knowledge on the Avatar state. So at his most powerful, but also his most vulnerable. So he has to really be careful to actually use his power in the smartest and also most lethal ways too. Because if he allows them to get even one deadly shot in, then that could not only deal damage to him, but it could also mean that he's that much closer to dying. And if he dies, then no more Avatar. But then, yeah, I think the Legend of Korra existing pretty clearly kind of debunks that. So it's like, I mean, Aang does die eventually, but he's also like, he's not really. Hopefully it happens of old age. Hopefully he goes out on his own terms and he lives a good long life with Katara and Sokka and Appa and Momo and everyone else, and he lives a good long life. And then like whatever happens in Korra happens in Korra. So yeah. And yeah, so Azula comes in pretty much immediately. First episode, and she's already in. She's talking. She's doing stuff, and yeah, I think I want I kind of love Azula. Like I kind of love how evil she is, because I think she's honestly like she is the one who's inherently evil. She's the one who's inherently evil, and I think because she's inherently evil, she doesn't seek Ozai's approval. She just gets it. She gets it because she's evil. She does what needs to be done. She follows Ozai's orders. She has that kind of that fiery hatred in her heart that the Fire Nation has, and the Fire Nation kind of thrives off of. So everything she does, she already gets admiration and validation and approval from Ozai. Also, she kind of prides herself off of that. She prides herself off of being the good soldier who follows orders and does what needs to be done and everything. And especially I think what this episode has already kind of established is that she has a deceptively warm demeanor. She has a deceptively warm voice and demeanor when she needs it. Like especially the beginning with the guard being like, tell me, do the tides command this ship? No, it's me. I am the one who tells you where to go, which direction to turn, how to run the ship, and where to take me. So I think, the tides may have already come up, have already decided to kill you when you get thrown overboard and crash into them, and they kind of just send you crashing against rocks and you die. But me, I'm still mulling it over. So do yourself a favor and do as I say before I actually come to a very, very kind of, very, very scary decision, scary decision, like she literally has that kind of deceptively warm and kind of welcoming demeanor and everything. Even at the very end, when she's actually inviting Zuko and Aro on board and everything, I honestly can't wait to see more of it. As evil as she is, it's a very, very, and especially for a villain, it's a very, very appreciative and understandable evil, and it's an evil you can get behind. But it's at times you wonder if you can really support it. But at the same time, it's she's doing exactly what she's meant to do, and it's props to the voice actress too for making her that way too, giving her that warm demeanor and then actually stripping it away and showing you what her true intentions really are. So props to whoever the voice actor is, but also the character. I think it's a good enough first glimpse at who the character is. Like she has lied to Zuko before, and she was willing to do it again just to get him and Iroh on board. And she's very much, undyingly kind of faithful and loyal to her father and to the Fire Nation. She does what she needs to do for them, and her mission is to pretty much capture the Avatar too. Like Ozai said, like bring your brother and father back here to pay for their crimes, and then go out and get the Avatar yourself. So then he only trusts her to do it after news of the North Pole failures reached him. So I think it's definitely going to be like some kind of a race against time to get to see who gets to the Avatar first. Because I think that's also the difference too. With Azula, she won't hesitate to bring him down. She won't hesitate to bring him down, but she also won't hesitate to kill Katara and Sokka if they get in the way. So then it's going to be interesting seeing how she goes in. But then also with Zuko and Iroh, I think for them it might just turn into a mission of actually, find him and get him somewhere that you can capture him, but also, in a way, get him to safety as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that rolls down. But I think Iroh too. Iroh knowing from the get go that something seemed off, because especially of the way that Azula worded it, because he's like, I know Ozai, I know my brother. He's never been regretful of anything in his life, and he's never regretful because he never actually second thinks himself. He always does what he believes is true to him and true to the Fire Nation. He always follows his own instincts, be they killing or imprisonment or destruction or whatever. So he never really lives to actually regret. He makes sure that he never lives to regret any of his decisions. And I think with the amount of ferocity and kind of cruelty in his heart that he both scarred Zuko with, and also later on banished him with, I think it's also easy to say that he never would regret something like that. He would never, I think, and especially because the whole duel where Zuko kind of got that scar from, that whole thing was like a lesson in respect and not humiliating him, and actually being strong and cruel and steadfast and all these different things. I think he would never regret what he did to Zuko. He would never feel sorry for him. Because I think again, he thought having to apologize in the first place for doing something was just weakness, and you had to be strong in your convictions, but also never disrespecting would be the other kind of main lesson for him to learn. So there's no way in hell that he would ever there's no way in hell he would ever actually regret anything in general. But then also, specific to what he did to Zuko, he thought he'd be teaching him a lesson, so he never really apologized for that either. So Iroh knew something was off. But then Zuko, and I think Zuko going from the realization that it had been 3 years since that day was the anniversary, it had been 3 days since Ozai actually banished him in the first place. I think that might have helped too, the fact that Azula conveniently shows up on the 3rd anniversary of his banishment just to bring him back, and under the pretense of Ozai actually being regretful and everything, that might have been another thing too, or at least it might have just been really really fancy timing and everything. So but then with Zuko, given how much he wants to actually feel his father's love and his father's admiration and his approval again, he's just willing to go along with it. And he's willing to think could father really have forgiven me? Could he really have actually had a change of heart, or could he actually really see my value back to the Fire Nation or something? So he's just then deep down he's still that kind of kid who needs love, he needs direction. And I think destiny for him is Iroh. His destiny is Iroh being that kind of father figure in his life, as we've already seen throughout season 1 and season 2. He's willing to fight and protect him and actually get him back to safety and everything. So Iroh is the father figure and the kind of fatherly role model that I feel like we all could do within life. He is, he's just that kind of man. He's that kind of man. So he is the one willing to teach you the most kind of I was going to say wisdomous, but then I remembered wisest is a word. Wisdomous, I don't think is a word, but wisest is a word. He is willing to teach you the wisest of life lessons, and also actually teach you to, to figure out what it is you truly seek in life, be it validation or admiration. But then even if it is those things, find them from the right people. Seeking, getting approval from Ozai compared to Iroh is a very different thing. It's two very different things, because it all depends on what you're doing and why you're doing it. So with Iroh, he would always, I think with Iroh deep down, he would always also preach that you actually do right by the ones you love, but also, I feel like him, despite being Fire Nation, I think he would also definitely kind of go with the whole thing of don't hurt people, don't betray them, don't kill them, just do what needs to be done and do complete your mission, but try and do it ethically, perhaps. But then Ozai would be screw ethics. If you need to kill them to send a message, then do it, and I will love you all the more for it. So yeah, it's a hell of a trip. It's a hell of a trip. But yeah, this this episode really showed those kinds of stark differences, and also showed off like the kind of like exactly who Azula is deep down. She is manipulative, she's cold, she is willing to do whatever it is to get what she wants. So I guess we will only see that expanding in the future. So yeah. And yeah, I think the other thing I didn't actually know this was possible within this show. I think all the elements that exist, I didn't think this would be one of them. Lightning bending. I think she was essentially actually bending light. I think I was actually in the middle of right now, so I just saw like kind of flashes in my peripheral, and I actually looked up to see what was happening, and then I was like, could that be like lightning? Because I think it definitely has like similar-ish kind of sound effects and similar flashes and similar actual visuals to how lightning would be. But then is that like can lightning like I think it is I think. Because I think all the elements that there are like canonically anyway like all the elements that there are essentially just kind of aspects of life and also the world that they live in, like like fire, like all the other it's all a part of the world around them, a part of the world that they live in. So earth, fire, water, like it's all a part of like the land, like the very kind of like pretty much like the basics of the earth that they're on. So like that kind of stuff makes sense. I mean lightning also kind of makes sense too. Like lightning. I think like if Thor was in this, he'd be a lightning bender, essentially. So I think lightning bending is something I'd never really considered. Like I think it's like I think it definitely seems like more of like a weather phenomenon than anything else. But then water can come in rain, but it can also come in many other kind of forms of existence. But I think like lightning, like electricity, bending electricity, is a very, very peculiar kind of concept to me. So I don't know exactly how that would work, because I think it's like I think I don't know, because like I think they don't have electricity run like they are like not like this isn't a world where technology in any shape or form exists, but I think you still get lightning from the clouds when there's friction and tension in the clouds. You still get it from there. But then with Azula, she was literally forming in her hands, like the same way that the Fire Nation can literally. I think fire and electricity, I feel like, come from your actual kind of body, like comes from your actual body, your spirit. And I think in season 1 they actually explored that fire, like energy in your body is is actually like harnessed through your breath, and it's in your breathing that you can control the fire, and then you actually pump your fists out and you can bring out fire and everything. So based on how Azula was doing it, it works pretty much the same way. Whereas with water and fire, with water and earth, it's like like it's actually around. It's actually like physical things around you. Like Katara always keeps like a bottle of water on her that she can actually bend and do what she needs to do, and then she just puts it back in, and then they're actually walking on Earth. So that's like an easy enough an easy enough thing to access. So that's neat. But then, like lightning, I feel like lightning is like an even more interesting and peculiar kind of element to exist, let alone bend. So I'm curious where they're gonna go with that kind of thing. Azula was one we saw doing it more prominently, but then Iroh was doing it. Iroh actually was doing it, like right in the very end, that final fight scene, like especially when he came up against Azula, like he stopped Azula from unleashing like a lightning strike, but then he actually used one himself. So I think Iroh can lightning bend. Iroh can lightning bend too. So I'm wondering if that exists as its own element that needs its own kind of exclusive level and like rule of mastery, or if maybe if it's an extension of fire, because you can get fire from lightning. Like if lightning strikes a tree, then that tree gets set on fire. Like all the thing, if lightning strikes almost anything, then it can like really like combust or kind of burst into flames, or sparks can come out of it. So that can really happen. So I wonder maybe if the lightning, if it's like an extension of fire, or if it's own thing, or if it's its own thing, or maybe if it's both. Like if you try and go for lightning exclusively, you're gonna have a much harder time because it does really work in really peculiar ways. But then if you've already mastered firebending, then you can have an easier time getting to electricity, because then it does the same kind of like near enough the same levels of damage, and it still operates in like near enough the same way. So yeah, so I'm hoping the Avatar doesn't have to master lightning too, because honestly, again, Aang is having a hard enough time mastering the 4 elements as it is. Adding a 5th is not going to make his job or his life any easier. So I am very curious as to how he's going to move forward, especially once he sees this in action. I'm curious as to how he's going to move forward with this knowledge. Like, oh, there's a 5th one, but then the monks never told him about that. the monks only ever told him about 4 elements. So I think, I think, like, if he doesn't know, then it might not hurt him, but then it also probably wouldn't hurt to actually add a 5th into his actual skill set, just so that he's prepared for anything. So, I don't know, but lightning bending, that is pretty damn cool. That is pretty damn cool. But yeah, that is it. That is pretty much it. So again, I think these episodes offer a lot for you to think about, and the show as a whole offers you a lot to think about. But at the same time, it's like, again, similar to Harley Quinn, maybe similar to like a show like Harley Quinn, where the episodes are like a lot, like they run a lot shorter, they pack a lot more in, and some of the scenes run a lot shorter too. But then they even still seem very, very speculative in nature, so it's going to be interesting getting through this show as well and actually adding this to the roster and seeing how it goes. So I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this reaction. I'm hoping you guys look forward to seeing more, and I genuinely look forward to exploring more of this show and seeing what it has to offer and actually engaging with the fandom. I think I feel like the Last Airbender fandom is still as alive as ever, and especially because of the fact that the creators are actually working on like some sense of like a reboot / kind of continuation of the story in some way. Like, I think initially they were teamed up with Netflix, but then there were creative differences, so then they kind of departed, and then everyone was worried. But then the creators themselves said, "Don't worry, we're taking this new project into our own hands, and we're going to continue the Avatar story and the Avatar universe in a way that we see fit." So I don't know what's on the way, but something is on the way soon enough. So I think either I do catch up before then, or I don't. But either way, I'm just kind of excited to go on this journey and to explore it with all of you too, and see how it goes, and to explore more of this wonderful show. So yeah, I look forward to it all. So let me know if you guys did enjoy this reaction, if you're looking forward to even more, and hopefully we can enjoy them all together. But yeah, that was pretty much it. So that was Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 2, Episode 1. So as always, thank you guys so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Avatar: The Last Airbender. Once again, the full-length reaction for this episode will be over on Patreon, so you can go and check that out over there, and that one will be just as cool. But yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.